Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Operation Research Introduction class. Better way to introduce the subject is quantitative techniques and operation research. That is the name of the subject. Although the introduction of this operation research would be operation research is basically it is a scientific method of providing executives like you people with a quantitative basis for making your decisions more easily. That is what operation research is all about. So before we get into the history of the subject, operation research, how this operation research actually got initiated during Second World War time by basically two scientists. Those names were McCausey and Tefferton, and they introduced the subject in somewhere in the middle of crisis situation in England in around 1940. So you know that if you are aware about the scenario of events, what was happening around 1940s when the world was at the peak of the World War II. Okay, the condition of France was very deteriorated by Germany. Germany was keep on attacking, was doing lot of airstrikes on the England. Winston Churchill was trying a lot to make sure that his army should not defeat or should not surrender in front of Germany. But of England win was very less. So during that time, it at the peak of the crisis time, so it was being discussed to come up with a subject or to come up with a strategy which can ultimately help them or can come up with some kind of proposals. Okay, and that proposals or those strategies should help the the government to talk about the optimality of the resource. So during Second World War, the military management of the UK called on the scientists from various disciplines and organized them into team to assist in solving strategic and tactical problem related to air and land defense of the. So the purpose was that time because you know that when we are at the war, then we need to talk about optimality. We need to make sure that we effectively utilize all our existing resources. Not about war, any kind of crisis situation. Like last year, when we saw corona epidemic suddenly emerging around us, so I believe we all struggled, no matter which part of world we were there, with our family or without family. So we had to struggle for everything. So that time, even potato, which we normally don't like, that turned to be gold. Like what Rahul Gandhi once said, that he will convert potato into gold. So during crisis time, when we have nothing to eat, all the shops are closed, and we need to eat nutritious food to make ourselves survive, or we need to eat minimum basic food to survive. So that time, the want become need, the need become want. So in economics, we try to understand the difference need and want, but that time probably both look more or less same. So under that scenario time, optimality, that time for us, everything and anything, we try to make use of that. So operation research as a subject, when we talk about how we look into the subject, so it basically it help as a firm. When you are into a firm, you are taking having some executive decisions, you are the managerial decision maker at the firm. So what the subject will do, the subject will give you analytical and objective quantitative basis for your decision making. Okay, so this is what the subject is all about. So you understood the history of the subject, how this subject came up during the Second World War time. So that time the scientists of all the disciplines were called, where the objective of this that meeting was to make sure that everyone should come together and they should talk about tacticals, or they should talk about the existing resources what they have, how they can use all those in the most efficient way to make sure they work with a common objective. Okay, so that was the reason why the subject came into picture. Many people, many authors consider this subject as pretty new subject. Probably this was always there in our human existence. Only thing is that we may or may not be aware about how we can do that. So at any moment in our time, we definitely in our life talk about optimality. Optimality basically talks about efficient utilization of the existing resources. So we have resources, right? We have renewable, we have non-renewable resource. Okay. So only thing is that because of whatever reason, we may or may about how we can do the maximum utilization of the existing resources we have. Okay, like talking about solar energy. So if we somehow can able to harness the solar energy, okay, then we don't have to depend upon fossil fuels for the generation of electricity, and then we can now save the world from lot of greenhouse gas effect. So there are a lot of things we can discuss at the present scenario when we are not at the war. But when we were at the war, and when we last year, this year, right now, when we are fighting the war against the corona, when the England was fighting the war against the Germany in Second World War. So at that era, what we always look for that if we have a cost, okay, we have certain parameters of cost, we need to talk about how we can minimize those costs. Okay, if we are running a firm and a profit, so at that time we talk about how we can maximize our profit. Okay, so whatever the existing resources are there, we try to utilize them as much as we can. So when we talk about the phases of the subject called operation research, how work on this subject. So during 1940s, the scientists of all the disciplines were called. Okay, and then they started discussing what they can do, how they can save their country against this crisis situation. Because if they will surrender means the gone, whole Europe will be gone. So the same the same scenario can even come in our life any moment of time, and then at that moment we need this subject, we need operation research in our life. So whenever we talk about operation research, what is the phase of working on the subject called operation research? Operation research, you can understand. Research means thorough investigation. Research can be qualitative in nature, it can be quantitative in nature. Operation research means you are doing research on your operations of the activities. Operations is basically the flow chart of the activities. In order to convert the raw material into finished good in the firm, you need to follow a lot of operations. So when you do a thorough investigations of those operations, for example, I just give you one example like that. It can happen in our day-to-day life. It can happen in any sequence of events. So when we talk about operation research, how we can work on operation research, the first and the foremost objective what we need to think about is to first define the problem, is to first formulate the problem. What is the problem? The same thing you can apply in your life also, that whenever you are tense, maybe for any reason you are tense, okay, maybe you yourself not aware about why you are tense. Whenever you have problems in your life, you need to first define the problem. What is that problem? Without knowing what is that problem, you can never able to solve the problem. So the first thing what we need to understand is the problem. You need to give it, you need to mentally or maybe physically, or maybe if it can be formulated, if the problem can be formulated, that is the biggest thing we can do. So if the problem is formulated, then probably in operation research what we do, the next thing we talk about the construction of mathematical model of the problem. So now this can be deviated from our day-to-day life scenario. Many people will not be liking so much mathematics that they can think about how they can formulate a mathematical model for the problem. So probably now you can go beyond domain, you can think about some mathematical scenario, or you talk about the scenario which can happen in your firm. So when you are working in an operation department, or when you are working in such certain statistical decision maker in any firm, probably in that scenario, what you need to do when you have a problem, when you can define the problem, the next thing what you need to do, you need to talk about a mathematical model. So what is mathematical model? Before that, what is model in the operation research? So probably we have lot of possible forms of models when we work on operation research. So we have model by function, we have model structure, we have model by the nature of involvement, we have models by the extent of generality. So we will discuss about them. These all are theory topics, okay, and I'll give you notes for them so you can read about them in case if you get a problem based mathematical models in the operation research, you can probably answer them. So from this chapter, if you see your previous question paper, 5 marks question used to come where they may talk about what is problem, what is operation research, and how operation research help in your decision making. Okay, all possible forms of problems, whatever you may get from this chapter, you will get a theory notes of that. So you don't have to worry on that part. So when we talk about coming back to the topic, when we talk about operation research, first we need to define the problem. Once the problem is being defined, then we need to talk about a mathematical model for the problem. What should be the conditions of this model? What all assumptions you can have in this mathematical model? What are the limitations a mathematical model can have? All that we can talk about later on. All that you will find a lot of notes in any textbook which you can go through. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk more about mathematical model. What is mathematical model, sir? Again, you're using the word model. What are these mathematical model, right? So models are nowadays are very common. Like when you study finance, this financial modeling. Okay, when you study HR, this subject called HR analytics. Okay, you know that we spend a lot of time probably in past to understand data science. So the need why we have done all that, because the reason is to form mathematical answer to any problem. The reason was how we can give a mathematical answer for any problem. That is what we are trying to learn in this subject. That was the same thing which I was trying to teach you when we were studying the data science. So when we talk about model, the model can simulate the scenario, because the real life scenario we may or may not able to execute at that moment. Suppose we have a problem and we have already defined the problem. We have already defined the problem. Now the next thing is that before we actually work on the solution of the problem, we can stimulate the event. Okay, we can create a hypothetical scenario for the event. Probably we can do mental mapping, or we on a piece of paper we can do a 2D analysis of what all assumptions can be there in this problem. Okay, and then what can be the possible solution of this problem, what can be the sequence of event, what can happen in the problem. So or maybe if hypothetically in 2D dimensional, if we can formulate that problem, so in the piece of a model, that way what we can analyze the problem. So the scenario what we talk about here, when we talk about construction of the mathematical, here we are talking about scenario building. Here we are talking about probabilities of how many sequence of events can happen when we try to work on the given problem. Then how we can solve that problem. So how to solve the problem? For each sequence of event or for each scenario, there can be a different scenario. And under each scenario, what we can do, we can assign a probability. Okay, so mathematically we can assign a probability, or in real life scenario, we can understand that at the given instant, which outcome is most likely to come. So that basic understanding we can always able to derive. And then once we have once we could able to achieve the solution of that mathematical model, the next thing what we need to work on, how we can test that model. Okay, because once the model is being constructed, once a mathematical model is being constructed and the possible optimal solution is being derived, then real life scenario, if we can do testing of that model, then it will make more sense to us. Like whenever any marketing company, whenever any firm come up with a product in the market, maybe the new electric vehicle has came. Okay, so that electric vehicle will be totally controlled by a mobile. Okay, now that before that that company will launch that vehicle, spending so much money in the operation. Because see, imagine talk about a scenario in our day-to-day life. Suppose if I'm working, maybe I got a problem. I know in my life we all have lot of problems in life, and then in order to find the solution of that problem, maybe if my teacher is telling me to construct a mathematical model, figuring out all the possible scenarios, outcome what can have, then do the testing of the solution, and then finding out the limitation of that mathematical model, then it looks very abstract for someone like me as a layman. But you think about a company, because imagine if the Royal Enfield is coming with a new bike. Okay, something like that scenario. If they are coming with a new bike, now if Royal Enfield came up with an idea of new form of electric vehicle, okay, so there is a scenario that it may fail or they may get success. We have studied something called decision tree analysis. We have done decision tree analysis. I hope you still remember. So when we talk about decision tree analysis, we have analyzed the problem. Like if as a Royal Enfield, if I'm coming with a new electric vehicle in the market, it may be the people will accept it, maybe the people will not accept it. Okay, it may impact my brand image also. So it may impact the sale of my other Royal Enfield bikes also. Imagine if this bike does not get success, then people opinion about my brand value can also get impacted. So lot of questions are there in the mind of any firm before they come up with any product. Maybe you have lot of money with you. Now you're going to study the subject. Probably you have another subject to study is the financial management. You'll study very soon after this subject. After this, my class is financial management. There, when we talk about financial management, there we look into the success of any product only on the perspective of cost and benefit, cost benefit analysis we do. Where whenever whenever we come up with any idea or any project, we spend some money to work on that project. That is our initial investment. That initial investment we can either borne by equity, or that initial investment we borne by debt. So sum total of equity plus debt, which is called as capital, that we need to put it upfront. And when we put that of capital upfront, then the objective of putting that capital upfront, by any way we raise that fund, the reason was to come up with a venture which can ultimately can produce that unit which we can sell and generate the cash inflow for the firm. So that is what we were studying financial management. So I'm not going to get into that financial management details here. What I'm trying to tell you that given a scenario, whenever we have a scenario, whichever firm we talk about, whichever the day-to-day life we see the existing infrastructure around us, they talk about test marketing. They talk about dummy. They talk about a dummy scenario building. So the purpose of creating the dummy scenario building, or the purpose of working on test marketing or scenario building, was to make sure that the given model can be tested. And then based upon the limitation of the model, based upon how that model can stimulate the real life scenario, we can ultimately can come up with the given set of the possible outcome what we can have. So that possible set of outcome what we have can ultimately can tell us the NPV of this project. the NPV of the project or net present value of the project, or it talks about the effective utilization or the optimality of generating the value from that project. So whenever we talk about the phases of operation research, what is very important here is to define the problem. The objective is very important. Once the objective is very important, then we can construct a mathematical model for the problem. Okay, while working on the mathematical models, what can be the condition of a good mathematical model? So that model should be capable to take into account of all possible assumptions what we can have, where these assumptions should not gonna impact our real life outcome. That is what we are looking for. And in future, if you want to make just in the decision variables, that can also should be possible. So the variables should be limited, the assumption should be limited. Okay, it should not take much time in the construction of that model. All that conditions we need to keep always in our mind. Keeping that condition in mind, what we try to do once we have a mathematical model, we mathematically, by applying lot of tools of research in the operation research, I'm going to talk about lot of tools. I'm going to talk about linear programming approach. I'm going to talk about game theory. I'm going to talk about PERT CPM model. I'm going to talk about transportation problem, assignment problem. Okay, we're going to talk about job scheduling. So we're going to talk about lot of mechanisms of operation research. The purpose of talking about these mechanism of operation research, these are those tools which ultimately help you to generate the solution from the model. And once the solution from the model is being generated, then probably what we need to work on how we can ultimately implement that model is more important. So when we talk about the implementation of that model, okay, so how effective is that model ultimately depends upon how we can implement that model in the real life scenario. So when we talk about operation research, this mathematical model, what we construct, that is nothing but it's a simplified representation of an operation. Okay, it is a simplified representation of an operation or the process in which only the basic aspect or the most important feature of a typical problem under investigation, they should be considered. Okay, so we cannot put all the possible variables, we cannot put all the possible scenarios into a model, because that is not possible. Okay, so when we are constructing a mathematical model, what we just trying to see, how effective is our decision making. That is what we are looking for. Operation research as a subject, when we talk about, so operation research as a subject is more effectively, although in Second World War time it was being introduced, work on real life scenario. Probably at the war time, the British government was talking about how they can win the war by talking about effective utilization of all resources. But in real life, when we talk about operation research, we more or less use in the production management. Okay, we talk about when more or less in a manufacturing firm, all the scenarios, all the events, what I'm talking about, I'm more or less trying to connect the dots of production and operation management. And in that production and operation management scenario, when we are talking about construction of the mathematical model, that mathematical model should actually represent the set of events which may or may not, which most likely can impact my production. Okay, that is what I'm looking for. So the objective of this model, when we talk about, is to identify the significant factors and their interrelationship. These factors which directly or indirectly gonna impact the operation of my firm. Okay, so this when we look into the model, it should have as much less assumption. It should have as much less variables, decision variables it should have. Okay, and then probably any model would be the best model. Any mathematical model would be the best mathematical model if it can be capable of taking into account of the new changes if it required to be made. Okay, so that model should have variables, it should have less constant. Okay, in while writing the equations of the mathematical model, I should use more variable, in the sense that probably if I want to change any variable because of the change in economic condition around me, probably I should not end up in getting stuck with the solution of the model. So my solution should always be achieved. So this is what we are trying to learn in this subject of operation research, where we talk about the construction of this model, how we can work on these models in the operation research. So operation research, when we look into operation research, when we talk about the phases of operation research, where we studied that we need to talk about a problem, it is very important to define the problem and then to work on the mathematical model of the problem. When we work on determining the mathematical model of the problem, we should end up in getting the solution of the model. So that solution, the quantitative solution, as a mathematician, or as a statistician, I can give to the management. That management have to understand, and based upon that, the management should end up in giving an appropriate decision, looking into the possible scenarios. So these all are more or less being discussed when we talk about operation research. Talking about the limitation of operation research, probably you can understand doing this subject. When we work on operation research, it requires that we should do a lot of calculation, and many times to do this calculation, if that calculation is done manually, then it will consume a lot of time. Or if it worked on computer, we need computer to do this calculation, and then that will result in the increase in the cost of the firm. So we need to understand, and then the solution also, what is being given to the management after doing all such possible mathematical homework, the other person should end up in understanding also that what is being done. That is also very important. So the managerial should be in that position that they can understand the mathematical part of how the being done. In case if the management could not able to understand the mathematical part of how the solution is basically achieved, then probably the better decision making may or may not will able to happen. So that is again the consideration what is being accounted here. Also, the other limitation of this subject called operation research is basically that many suggest that a lot of qualitative factors are not considered while construction of the mathematical model. So quantitative factors are very easy to work on, but what about qualitative factors? So that is again the limitation of this model. The same limitation we had when we studied statistics also. I hope you remember. So the same limitation we also had when we studied statistics also. The same similar limitation you also have when we work on operation research also. So when we look into the operation research, the most prominent tool which actually help us to work on operation research when we work on the construction of mathematical model, and the most prominent tool which actually help us is the linear programming. So we now will talk about linear programming, the theory of linear programming, how operation research can help decision making. All that probably those are theoretical concepts which we may also can Google also, or which for which I give you notes also. You can easily understand by yourself. Anyone, any doubt, any question, please ask me. Anything you want to ask, use the chat option, ask your doubt. So talking about operation research as a subject, how this subject is helpful in our decision making process. So probably we when we talk about operation research, it is basically it provides us analytical, logical, and systematic method for problem solving approach to be worked on, and it help us in our decision making scenario. And that is not helpful for us. It is helpful for management, it is helpful for organization, where if we can work where we can, if we can define the problem, we can, if we can break the problem into very basic component, and then if we can solve it by step by working on mathematical analysis, we can ultimately can get a logical interpretation of how the problem can be solved. So the in the events like planning and development, or credit scoring, or sales promotion, or capacity planning and facility planning, in all the possibles in events or many more events like this, the subject operation research can be worked on. There the ultimate objective is how we can have an efficient control of the existing set of resources, and with that existing set of resources, how we can able to generate an effective system, and that system should help us to generate a better and analytical domain or the vision. So that vision what we can get, so that should be properly coordinated with the management, and then it will help us to maximize our profit or minimize our losses. Okay, so when you study financial management also, you will talk about the objective of the firm. So what should be the objective of the firm? Should the objective of firm should be maximization of profit? Then there you will study, if the objective of the firm is maximization of profit, profit can be gross profit, profit can be operating profit, profit can be net profit. Then what can be the objective of the firm? So here will not get accounting part, and also to get a discussion about the difference between profit and cash flow, which should be preferred more. Here we will assume that ultimately, whenever we have a problem, whenever we have a set of data, we believe that if the data pertaining to profit or revenue, our end objective should be to maximize it, while if the data pertaining to cost, our end objective should be minimize it. So they can be subject like strategic cost management. They are subjects like financial management, which go into detailed discussion about cost and profit. Here we'll not do this. Here we look at the perspective of mathematics. So when we look into the perspective of mathematics, we can solve the problem. So this subject as an operation research is being used in agriculture, it is being used in economy, it is being used by corporate houses and business, it is being used for marketing purpose, it is being used in human resource management, it is being used in production and manufacturing, in life insurance plan and premium. Anywhere and everywhere you will find the application of this subject. So that is how you can look into this subject. In exam, you will get a theory question about what is operation research, how we can work on operation research, how operation research is subject help us to formulate the solution for a given problem, how it help us in decision making. All this we can easily understand when we look into the given notes, what I'm doing for you, what I'll send in your group. So by reading that, you can easily work on them. So when we work on operation research, the most powerful domain help us to work on operation research is the linear programming. So linear is the tool which we use most frequently in research to define the solution for the problem. So when we talk about linear programming works on the sole objective of optimization. Okay, so when we have linear programming, how we work on linear programming, where we talk about optimization, here the perspective what we need is what is linear programming. Okay, the perspective which we look into is what is linear programming. So when we talk about linear programming, it is basically a very simple technique where we depict the relationship in a given set of problems through linear functions, and then we try to find the objective from that given scenario. So the objective function in the case of linear programming can be maximization of profit, or it can be either the minimization of cost. Okay, so when we work on linear programming, when we work on linear programming, when we have linear programming, so what is the first thing what we need to look into? So in the linear programming, the first thing what we look into is we define decision variables. Okay. So whenever we have linear programming approach, linear program, what is linear programming? It gives us an approach, okay, to solve a problem. So what can be the approach to get the answer for the problem? So for that, what we need to do, we need to define the objective. So we write first the objective function. In the linear programming, the first thing what we write is the objective function. So objective function can be either, it can be either maximization of profit, it can be either the maximization of profit or revenue, or it can be either the minimization of cost. So that in the linear programming objective. So it objective can be either maximization of profit, or it can be either minimization of cost. Okay, so once we know our objective function, then in order to achieve this objective, that your objective is either to maximize the profit or to minimize the loss. So how will you able to achieve that? So in order to achieve that objective, what we do, guys, we look into the variables, those footprints. Okay, those footprints which can actually help us to get our objective. So those footprints, what we talk about, those footprints we called as a decision variables. We call them as a decision variable. So these decision variables which ultimately help us to achieve our required objective. Okay, so now these decision variables will, with respect to the constants, we define our objective function. Okay, once we defined our objective function, once we define our objective, now nothing in this world comes very simply. So to now the next thing what we write is that what are the constraints you may have? What are the constraints you may have to get that objective function? We need to explain. So on looking into the given problem, we see all possible constraints what we can have to work on the given problem. So once that part is done, once we defined our objective function, once we have our construction, once we have our constraint, then what we do, we try to solve them. We try to solve the given problem different methods. Okay, we follow graphical method, or we follow simplex method, or we follow big M method to solve the given problem. So we, like, I can write the problem like this: 2x minimization of z is equal to 2x1 plus 3x2 subject to constraint. I'll write subject to constraint. Constraint are 7x1 plus 5x2 is less than or equal to 12, or maybe 15x1 plus 13x2 greater than equal to 5. And then I write x1, x2 should be greater than equal to 0. This we call as non-negativity restriction. Non-negativity restriction. This we call as non-negativity restriction. So when we work on operation research, guys, so your objective function can be either a minimization or it can be maximization. So depending upon the problem, your objective function is either minimization or it is either maximization. If the data is given about cost, then your objective function will be minimization. So we write like this: minima of z. We write like this: minima of z. Z is the variable which talks about the objective function. That is equal to 2x1 plus 3x2. Okay, here what is x1, x2, guys? Here your x1 and x2 are your decision variable. Here x1 and x2 are your decision variable, which actually will help you, which actually can help you to connect the dots between the given mathematical problem with respect to the given mathematical form of that problem. So when we try to construct that mathematical model of the given scenario, then we have to use the variables, no, which can bridge the gap between the qualitative part of problem and the quantitative aspect. So we use decision variables. Those decision variable here, for example, are x1 and x2. Okay, then ultimately, what are these? These are basically constraint. So nothing in this world come very freely. So your objective is to maximize the profit or to minimize the cost. But in order to achieve that objective, you will face constraint. You have constraint either maybe because of you have time. I want to be the richest person. Okay, but I have constraint. Or what constraint I have? I have constraint of time. I have only 24 hours. Next constraint is the money what I earn per hour. That constraint what I have. Third constraint I have is my intelligence. Okay, the fourth constraint what I have, I don't have required man force. The fifth constraint what I have, I don't have an idea only how to become rich. So because I have all these constraints, that's why I'm not able to become the richest person of the world. So these are my constraints. Now, in order to work on these constraints, you when we actually use them in the manufacturing setup, we need to make sure that the answer what the decision variable should give you, they should give you positive answer. No, they should give you positive output, right? Positive output in the sense that when you talk about manufacturing setup, you are producing some units. Okay, you cannot manufacture negative units, right? There, if you're manufacturing, you have to manufacture positive units, right? I hope you are getting it. So this is what LPP problem is all about. This is the example of linear programming problem. Now, in order to get the answer for this problem, we use different approaches. Different approaches are there. We have graphical method to solve them. To solve them, we have a graphical method. We have simplex method to find the answer for this problem. Simplex method alternatives are big M method, duality method, two-phase method. Then we can solve it by using solver also in MS Excel. So different ways are there, we can solve them. And ultimately the answer what we get, that is the final output of the given problem. I hope you understood this. Now see this problem, everyone. Try to write the LPP equation for this problem. Everyone, please do. Now guys, if you see in this problem, there's a manufacturer. It produces two models, M1 and M2. There's a manufacturer, it produces two model, M1 and M2. The two models are being constructed by this manufacturer. Okay, each model of M1 require 4 hours of grinding and 2 hours of polishing. So when we talk about model M1, it requires 4 hours of grinding and 2 hours of polishing. There each model of type M2 requires 2 hours of grinding, okay, and 5 hours of polishing. This is given for model M2. Okay, the manufacturer has 2 grinder and 3 polisher. Okay, each grinder can work 40 hours a week and each polisher can work 60 hours a week. That is given. Okay, so each grinder can work 40 hours a week. Okay, and each polisher can work 60 hours a week. The manufacturer have 2 grinder. So means how many hours he can use grinding per week? He can use 80 hours. So the maximum grinding what he can use per week, so that is 80 hour. I hope you are understanding. This is the maximum grinding what he can do, because one grinder can work 40 hours. He have 2 grinders. 1 hour, one grinder can work 40 hours in a week, and he have 2 grinder. So the maximum time, the maximum hour he can use for grinding per week is the 80 hour. Similarly, each polisher can work 60 hour and he has 3 polisher. So the maximum polishing what he can do per week is basically 180 hours. I hope you understood, because one polisher machine can work 60 hours a week and you have 3 polisher. So you can use 180 hours. Okay. Then it is given the profit on model M1 is 3 rupees and the profit on model M2 is 4 rupees. Okay. So whatever is produced in a week is sold in the market. So how should the manufacturer allocate his production capacity to the two types of model so that he can get the maximum profit in a week. So this is the problem what is being given to us. So in order to solve this problem, what I can do, we can define, so we can define our decision variable. What all can be our decision variable? So it's very important whenever you solve the LPP problem, you need to know your decision variable, guys. So here, what can I define as a decision variable? Let x1 means the number of units. Here x1 means the number of units of model M1. Let X1 is the number of units of model M1, manufactured by the firm per week. Because the data, if you see, the data is given per week data. So the analysis what we do, that also we need to do weekly analysis. Similarly, X2 basically means the number of units of model M2, which is manufactured by the firm per week. So I hope you understood what is X1, what is X2. So X1, the number of units of model M1, which should be manufactured by the firm per week, and X2 is, let X2 is the number of units of model M2, which should be manufactured by the firm per week. So these are your decision variable. Clear, everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt? Please ask me. Then you write your objective function. So when we write our objective function, your objective function is either maximization or either minimization, because here they are talking about profit in this problem. So my objective function will be maximization. So my objective function here would be maximization of Z. That is equal to, okay, so so the profit or model M1, you can see on M1, on 1 unit of M1, your profit is 3 rupees. 1 unit of model M1, your profit is 3 rupees. On 1 unit of model M2, your profit is 4 rupees. Okay, so on 1 unit, you are earning 3 rupees profit. If I'm manufacturing X1 unit of model M1, so my profit will be 3X1. And if I'm manufacturing X2 unit of model M2, then my profit on model M2 would be 4X2. So this should be my maximum profit. So what I'll try to do, I want to maximize this value. Maxima of Z is equal to 3X1 plus 4X2. I hope you understood this. Now, this is my objective function. Now, in order to achieve this objective, I need to face some constraint. So what all constraint I'm having to face? So the given, you have a constraint. What constraint you have, sir? So you have constraint that the grinding activity, what you are doing, you cannot do as much as you want. Maximum grinding you can do is 80 hours, because one grind you have 2 grinder machine, and one grinder machine can only work 40 hours per week. Okay, one grinder machine can only work 40 hours per week, and you have 2 grinder. So you can maximum do grinding 80 hours only. I hope you are understanding. So if I look into the model M1, model M2, if you see the grinding part, if you see the grinding part, okay, when if you see the grinding part, if you see the grinding, then if you see the polishing, so the maximum grinding you can do is 80 hours. The maximum polishing you can do is 180 hours. Okay, what is given here, guys? That each model of M1 require 4 hours of grinding. Each one unit they're talking about. 1 unit of M1 require 4 hours of grinding and 2 hours of polishing. Okay, and each model of M2 requires 2 hours of grinding and 5 hours of polishing. Correct? Okay, but you understood, right? And the maximum time what I have for grinding is 80 hours, and I'm manufacturing X1 unit of M1. I'm manufacturing X1 unit of M1 and X2 unit of M2. Now talking grinding constraint I have is 80 hour. So what I can write that maximum grinding activity I can do is either 80 hour or less than 80 hour. So if I'm manufacturing X1 unit of M1 and X2 unit of M2, then I can write the equation for this. For grinding constraint, I can write 4X1 plus 2X2. That what we are doing. 4X1 means I'm manufacturing X1 unit no, of model M1. I'm manufacturing X1 unit of model M1. One unit consume 4 hours in grinding. So X1 unit will consume 4X1 hours and one unit of M2 consume 2 hours in grinding. So X2 units of M2 will consume 2X2 hour and the maximum time what I have for grinding is 80 hours. Similarly, I can write for polishing. I can write the equation called 2X1 plus 5X2 is less than or equal to 180 hours. Same thing I can talk about polishing. So if I write my constraint here, so what are my constraints? So here I'll write my constraint, grinding constraint that I'll write as 4X1 plus 2X2. That maximum I can use is 80. Okay, so this is my grinding constraint, either equal to 80 or less than 80. Similarly, if I write my polishing constraint, then my equation will be 2X1 plus 5X2, 2X1 2X1 plus 5X2 is less than or equal to 180. So first one is my grinding constraint. This is my grinding constraint. This is my grinding constraint. And this is my polishing constraint. This is my polishing constraint. Now, these are all constraints I have. This is my objective function. You know my objective function very well. This is my objective function. Now, in order to work on this objective function, I want to maximize this. So, in order to maximize this, I have some constraint. What are the constraints I have? I have two constraints. That the machine what I'm using, I for grinding activity, I cannot use more than 80 hours, and for polishing, I cannot use more than 180 hours. Now, this is what constraint what I have. Now you tell me by doing mathematical calculation, please tell me that how much how much can I manufacture? So there you will write at the end non-negativity restriction. How much can you manufacture? Non-negativity restriction. So that how much you can manufacture, so that whatever you are manufacturing, when we are trying to solve, because what we have done, guys, please understand what I done. The given operational problem what we had, we have converted that problem in the set of mathematical equation. So once we have converted the given operational problem in the set of mathematical equation, here one thing we need to make sure that is this is actually a real life operational problem. When you are converting into mathematical equation, you need to make sure that the values what this variable is taking, it should not take negative value. I hope you're understanding. What is X1? X1 is the number of unit of model M1 which I can manufacture. So can you manufacture negative units? No, right? So non-negativity restriction basically means that the units what you're talking about, the X1, X2, the variables what you're talking about, it should be a positive value, or it should not, it should be zero. It can be zero, it can be positive value, it cannot be negative value. So that we write as non-negativity restriction. And this is what is the LPP equation is all about. So when you see this, this is what we talk about linear programming problem. This is what we talk about is the LPP formulation. So you may get a theory question. What is LPP formulation? What is linear programming? How the LPP problems are being formulated. So you can create a hypothetical example there, and then you can write the equations for that example, and that way your work will be done. Anyone, any doubt? Clear? Anyone have any doubt? We'll discuss more problem tomorrow. Anyone? So, Ganga have concern about that last one. So this is what we wrote, Ganga, is this is called non-negativity restriction, Ganga. So please understand, Ganga, this what this mean. See, understand that what we have done here, what we have done, please understand, there was a problem. Okay, there's some problem given, some real life problem related to manufacturing is given to us. Okay, so there's a companies there, they want to manufacture two types of model. One is M1, another one is M2, and these models what they're manufacturing, they undergo two set of what you say operational activity. One is grinding, another one is polishing. And sometime these models doing the manufacturing setup, they'll spend doing the course of the raw material conversion to finished good. Probably under the grinding activity, under the polishing activities, they will consume some time. Here, what as a firm, what I want, if I am the decision maker of the firm, okay, what I want to maximize my profit. On 1 unit of M1, I'm earning 3 rupees profit. On 1 unit of M2, I'm earning 4 rupees profit. So what I want, if I'm the decision maker, when we study the financial management, when we talk about Adam Smith, the Wealth of Nation of written by Adam Smith, the firm should work with sole objective to maximize the profit. So what should I do? I should work so that I can maximize my profit as much as I can. And then in order to get that maximization of profit, there are some constraints that the one grinder can only work 40 hours a week, one polisher can only work 60 hours a week. So that constraint I have. I want to maximize my production per week so that I can maximize my profit. So the question is being given to the operation research analyst that this is the scenario. Now you tell me what should be the value of X1 and X2. What should be the value of M1, M2, which we can manufacture. So the operational research analyst defined the variable X1, X2, saying that let X1 is the number of unit of model M1 what you can manufacture. X2 is the number of unit of model M2 what you can manufacture. Here the operation research analyst did everything correct. He defined the given real life problem into critical problem. Next thing what this person need to be very much aware about, that this value what you are getting now, X1, X2, I can feed this value into computer. So we'll do tomorrow, I'll show you by using MS Excel how we can solve this. So by using MS Excel, we can actually solve this problem. You don't have to solve it manually. You write X1, you write X2, and then I'll put X1, X2, I'll put some value. And then this mathematical problem, what I have, I can feed this value into software, and that software will give me the answer. I don't have to do manually anything. But before feeding this value, I need to tell the software that software, look, take care of one thing, that X1, X2, what you are trying to get, because software will only look into one thing, that they want to maximize the profit. So when you are trying to work on maximizing the profit, make sure that X1, X2 should not become negative, because I hope you're understanding. If you're manufacturing something, you cannot manufacture negative units. So that non-negative restriction will help you to connect the dots between a real life problem into a mathematical scenario. In mathematics, it can be negative, it can be zero, it can be fraction, it can be irrational number, it can be anything. But in real life, you cannot have an irrational number in production. So Manoj, this is the simplified form. Okay, so we will simply solve this. In order to solve this, we'll use either graphical method or by simplex method. We'll learn probably doing a course of a journey. of how we can get the answer for this problem by using simplex method or by using graphical method or by using LPP. All that we'll do. So we'll learn that. So if your object here, so your objective function will be maxima of z, that is equal to 3x1 plus 4x2. You feed everything in software. Software will give you the answer. Okay. Then your constraint 1. What is your constraint 1? Constraint 1 is 4x1 plus 2x2. 4x1 plus 2x2. This value what you are getting, this value should be less than or equal to 80. Okay, then I will do this tomorrow. I'm just showing you. The second constraint will be 2x1 plus 5. This value should be less than or equal to 180. Then non-negativity restriction, that your x1 should be greater than 0. Your x2 should be greater than 0. So this all in exam, when we studying this subject, we cannot in computer, but tomorrow when you become operational research strategist, you can do in computer. I'm showing you. So you don't want to do manual work, and already you studied data science. So you can actually do this by working on computer. So how you can do, you just need to feed this data in computer and computer will give you the answer. But only thing, before computer give you the answer, you need to make sure that computer should not give you negative value. So set objective, which is the objective function. So this is your objective function. Your objective function is this. It should be maximization by changing variable cell. Which are your variable cell? These are your variable cell. Okay, and then you write your constraint. You just add your constraint. That this constraint what you have, it should be less than or equal to 80. Then you add your next constraint. That your next constraint what you have, it should be less than or equal to 180. You can simply add these constraints. This all you don't have to do in exam in Excel. I'm just showing you like how computer do. Computer will do all the work for you. You just feed the data in computer. You just feed this data in computer. You feed this data in computer and you say solve. Computer will solve you and they'll give you the answer. This is the answer. That's it. So now, otherwise, if we try to solve this problem, I have to use in exam. For if I get this problem in exam, I'll use graphical method or simplex method to get the answer for this problem. In real life, we can solve it in computer in MS Excel. There's a function called solver. We can solve it by using this function and we get the answer. You can see the x1 value should be 2.5, x2 value should be 35, and the maximization, how much can I maximize, that the value would be 147.5. I need to make sure you see the constraint, no? That it should not be greater than 80. Maximum it can take is 80. The maximum it can take is 180. And your C1, C2, both should be positive value. That's it. Your problem is being solved. Clear, everyone? So we'll discuss more about how we can solve this problem by using graphical method or by using simplex method. But probably I just gave you an idea that how we can solve the linear programming problem when we have. Okay, first we create a mathematical equation for the problem. The mathematical equation for the problem. Now in order to solve this problem, we can spend time to solve this problem. But if we can do in computers, you know that now in real world, nowadays in corporate, you do everything on computer. You will not do on notebook and pen. Okay, so if you just need to feed these data in computer, and computer will give you the answer. So you manually, you don't have to do anything. So this would be your answer. Clear? Any doubt, anyone? Anyone, any doubt? Can we end the class? So this was the first class of your second semester. So again, I'd like to congratulate all of you to clear your first semester. I'm very happy that you all have cleared your first semester and now you are in second semester. So welcome back everyone. And at the end, I can say best of luck for this second semester. And as a teacher, as a mentor, I'll always there for you people to support in all possible crisis situation to make sure we can do the optimal utilization of the given time frame what we have. So with that note, I like to end the class. Thank you everyone. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye everyone.